Like, I think of constant stuff all the time. I was literally sharing with Norman yesterday of how much money a business literally pays just to find out shit they already know. Just to find out. We had the Primerica thing when the CEO was out there, right? He said how much money did he invest through a research company to invest. It was 1.1 million dollars to tell him something that they already knew. I know certain things. I promise you. We know certain things. Like, and the logic of things, we kind of like exit out. Like it's unrealistic. You know what it is for us to delete one account that was real actually yours from your credit? We can't be scared to tell the client the truth. It is what it is. These are the facts. So Mr. Client, right? I'm looking at your credit report. Guess what? You have one collection, right? You have one collection. So if I have 7 inquiries and one collection from 6 months ago, that collection got into the report. Is that a good client for the service? Yes or no?
Yes.
Rocio?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm the client. How would you introduce this to me? Would you really put a lot of emphasis on the inquiries, or will we put a lot of emphasis on the collection? Or would I just tell you, guess what, Mr. Client, you got 7 inquiries and you have one collection. Let's not worry about the inquiries, because actually, first off, the inquiries is the most difficult thing to delete in anybody's credit. Do you want me to take a swig at that? I'll take a shot, but I'm gonna tell you this much: it's gonna be very difficult. Or let's investigate, Mr. Client. Looking at your credit report, actually, I see that out of the 7, 2 of them are going to be expiring the next month or so. So guess what? You're going to have 5 in the next month or so. Because inquiries is the only account that falls off by itself. Did you guys know that based on the length of time, it's 24 months by the way, that if you get a collection today, and in a matter of 24 months, the impact that collection had, because remember, it's a snapshot on what's going on right now. So now you have a collection, it got into the credit report, right? All of a sudden, it dropped your scores. It went from a 680, now you got a 600, one collection. It could drop you like that, right? 80 points. But guess what happens after 24 months? On average, you would have already gained those points. If you would have had consistent payment history, if you don't add on any more inquiries than what you need, which is 6 to 8 on average in the last 2 years, there's nothing recent. You didn't open that many accounts. You didn't max out your credit cards. On average, it takes almost 24 months for you to gain those points back. So now I have 7 inquiries, or I have 10 inquiries, and guess what? Some of them are about to expire. As a matter of fact, half of them are going to expire this year. So how much points am I really losing from me starting today, and then in 12 months, half of them are going to be not impacting you as heavy as they normally would. So let's think about it from a common sense standpoint too, you know. So we're literally explaining to the client, Mr. Client, the inquiries are actually one of the most difficult things. If you want to address them, I can for you, but I'm going to tell you this much: statistically, the success is not always that high. There's things that we can do, Mr. Client. There are going to be additional things. Especially when I talk to somebody, I like to try to show as much value as possible. 3-phase process. What's the first phase? Helping you to delete this negative information using rules and regulations that protect us as consumers. And the reason why you're hiring us for 2 reasons, primarily. There's a bunch of reasons, but it funnels down to 2 really. You don't have time and you don't have the experience. That's it. Because if you knew how to do this, and if you had the time, you wouldn't be hiring me. So really, people pay us for 2 reasons: experience and time. That's it. So guess what? If you need for me to go ahead and work on this, let's work on other things additional to that. So for me personally, it's not only about deleting, it's also about helping people to rebuild new lines of credits. So let's talk about probabilities, right? So what do you think, guys, is the most second difficult things to delete in credit repair?
Late payments.
Late payments.
Late payments on?
Open account. There you go.
Good. So we got late on open and active accounts. That's the most second difficult things to correct. And why?
Because they have all the correct documents.
They have updated information. Remember, it's
If
an
you want to keep
active
the account
account.
open, they're gonna ask you for the documents if you don't have.
It's an active
Absolutely.
account.
It's an active and open account, guys.
So it means that they have all of your
And if you-
accurate and proper
If
information.
they don't have it, then they're gonna ask you for it, so if you want to keep the account open, that's it.
They're gonna get you by the balls, man.
Yeah.
The creditor's gonna say, hey, and what happens usually when we go ahead and dispute an open and active account? One of the harsh things that the creditors do.
They can take off the account.
They fucking delete it off your credit report.
They can. They sometimes
They take it off.
They take it off. Yeah.
Are we explaining that to the client?
You should.
We should.
You should.
We should let the client know. Listen, I could go ahead and dispute this. Because again, guys, we're not just focused on one thing. We're focused on helping the client to rebuild new lines. And to be honest with you, which I tell people this all the time, the education to me is the most important thing out of any process that we have, is the education. Because the more knowledgeable that you are, not only the better the client that they're going to be, the longer they're probably going to stay with us, the more trustworthy we are, the more credible that we're going to be with them. So guess what? The client's going to want to stay in the program because guess what? You didn't lie to them. Have we done research with Lexington Law? Have we done research on creditrepair.com, on Sky Blue Credit, Ovation Credit, Keep? We even had somebody here from another credit repair company, right? And what do people say to people? People just board a program and say, yeah, we're going to charge you $99 enrollment and $49 a month. Well, it's not going to cost me that much. I hope we get it done then. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't happen. I just brought somebody. Who's the other person from? I just brought somebody from Lexington Law. Somebody else just told me about somebody canceling from Lexington Law because they've been there for a year.
It was Hashid.
Yeah, the other way. Yeah.
The guy was here.
And I literally had a lady that we just brought in less than a month ago that she was with them for 24 months. 24 months. This is what our competitors are doing. We need to know what's happening across the street. We need to know exactly what's going on behind that fence, because if we don't, when the client challenges us, damn, that's too much money, or you know what, maybe I can't do that. Hey, why is it that they're charging me over there at 99 bucks and you're not? Then we want to get on the phone. Jose, right? Jose just had a guy. I spoke to his client yesterday, Keith. Keith is with Lexington Law right now. And he's been with Lexington Law for 8 months or some shit like that. And then the guy, he's not seeing any results on what's going on. You want me to tell you something? I'll tell you honest. And I've noticed this pattern too as well. When someone comes from doing their own, if we get somebody who comes from another credit repair company or comes from doing their own disputes, the success is already different.
Yeah.
I promise you not. You're coming from another credit repair company, the success that we're gonna have is different from doing it from scratch. Why? Because it goes back to the personal information. Guess what? The other company already sent over the driver's license. The other company already sent maybe some additional documentation. And under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it says if anything is unverifiable, incomplete, or inaccurate, must be deleted or corrected. That's it. And if somebody already went ahead and maybe submitted, I don't know what type of dispute, I don't know what they offered, all of a sudden they're coming to us, and now we have to kind of, in a sense, clean up the mess. The results are not going to be the same, guys. But are we letting the client know this? If a client's coming in from Lexington Law, yeah, man, we're going to go ahead and take over, and I'm going to get you done in 4 to 6 months. What makes us different from Lexington Law? We have to know the variations and the differences, right? Part of that is what? What do they dispute? How many accounts are they disputing? Listen, they're not giving out a service of $50 a month or $60 a month or $99 a month just because. They're doing it for a reason. Remember, it's time. So guess what? If I'm paying out $100 a month, then I'm buying time. If I'm paying $50 a month, I'm not buying enough time. So if I have 20 accounts from the rip, from the jump, they're not gonna dispute 20 accounts. They're gonna select probably the ones that they feel they're probably gonna be the easiest ones to go ahead and delete, or the ones that are probably the oldest ones. So they're gonna go ahead and select a certain amount of accounts. So when a client tells me, yeah, I've been for 12 months, I could have probably already know the type of package that you're in, because you're paying for time. So when we're offering the client a service and we're telling them it's gonna be $129 a month, there's a reason for that. Because when the processor takes over the file, when it goes to quality control, all that information has to be entered, and they're reviewing it and they're revising it. And then when the letters get created, especially now that when we're writing them down by hand, it takes even a little bit longer. So that what they're really paying for is our time. What's the third most difficult thing? Charge-off, right? And again, there's not, just because we're putting it in this order, it doesn't mean that this is how it plays out.
No,
I promise you guys. I've done a dispute letter 1, and the guy, all his inquiries got deleted on the first round. I went through 11 rounds, and I got
15 to be exact.
some ridiculous amount of
15.
disputes. But I got like 20 something inquiries deleted.
24.
Some ridiculous amount. What's the following from charge-offs? What do you guys think is after that?
Still the same method?
I mean, we have like bankruptcies, judgments.
Yeah, I think collections and let's put this as number 5. I think for the most part, everybody knows why collections is, I'm not gonna put it as the easiest, but it's the less difficult one,
Right.
and everybody knows his answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Everybody should know.
Because a lot of information gets transferred, gets missing.
Well, Chuck probably doesn't know.
Good. So, collections is the only account that gets put by a third party for the most part that we're not authorized to collect proper documentation from the original creditor. So the original creditor, Macy's, did a charge-off, right? And what is that? It goes through a 6-month process, what's called the profits and loss. The creditor does not want to pay taxes on money they never collected. So they charge off the account, legal by the state, and the state gives them a tax break. So if I was not able to collect the $1,000 that I gave Sean, because Sean, went on a shopping spree and he lost his job afterwards, knock on wood, right? And then guess what? I don't want to pay taxes on that money, so I charge that shit off. And guess what happens? ABC Collection, it's a legitimate company. They come in and they say, hey, by the way, I want to go ahead and buy off that account. And they buy what's called a what? A bill of sale. It's a fucking receipt. But now they're getting slick. And now they're getting more documentation now. So now not only they're getting that, but they're also getting history of the account. Not only are they getting that, but they're probably getting other documentations, which again, there's rules and regulations that protect this. And I've read literally, you guys should, it's pretty interesting. You should read like a credit card addendum. You should read a mortgage. There's nothing, and I've never seen it, that says that if you go ahead and charge off an account today, that information is going to get sold to ABC Collection or Midland Funding or Portfolio Recovery or whoever the heck it is. There's no addendum that says that. But it still gets sold.